In the Know, a radio program talking to the newsmakers in Ogle, Lee, DeKalb counties and beyond, keeping you in the know. Here's your host, Charles Van Horn.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. Another edition of In the Know. Joining us in studio from the Rochelle Elementary School District, Kimberly Lundsey, Language and Culture Coordinator, and Celesete Canfield, Director of Language Services. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hey, happy to be here.
Glad to have you here. First off, let's talk a little bit about language and the language services that are available to students at the elementary level, because we're not talking about English. We're talking about homes where English is the second language sometimes, and that's primarily what your departments focus on, correct?
Correct. Yes, the development of language acquisition in both Spanish and English.
What kind of challenges did the district face before the program got implemented that you're a part of now?
So prior to, we didn't have such an influx of Hispanic families, but over the last 10 to 15 years, we've seen a lot more larger numbers of families coming in with a Hispanic background, so much so that now our demographic of students is about 50% Hispanic. That
leads to some communication barriers with parents. I mean, obviously, it's bad enough that, as a teacher, you try to send something home for a parent to sign and hope it comes back, or a parent-teacher conference. And now it's different because the household would be speaking a different language than the primary language in the school. So that's where your guys' program sort of bridges that gap, right?
Absolutely, yes. And that's what we want to have, is that we want engagement from all parents. So we wanted to make sure we're reaching them and communicating in a way that they're understanding what we're sending home or what we're trying to accomplish within a school setting.
Kimberly, you work directly with students then?
I do. I'm the Language and Culture Coordinator, and previously I was the bilingual fourth grade teacher, so I have a lot of years working directly with the students.
About how many students do you guys see in a day in this program? I know you said 50%, but how many are actually need the dual language program?
Yep. So at each grade level, we have two different strands, actually. We have our monolingual program and our dual language program. So from fourth grade through seventh grade, we have 50 dual language students. And then below that, we have over 100 dual language students at each grade level. And so we're seeing across the grade levels about 400 students in our dual language programming.
How comfortable are the kids with this? Because I can imagine that, I assume they're probably more embracing than the parents, I would imagine, right?
So I think the kids have never lived anything different. Yeah. They started this in either preschool or kindergarten, and it's the only way they've ever done school. So it's just normal to them. Some of the parents have a lot of questions, and we do the best we can to educate parents and then continue to do so through our dual language showcases.
Teaching dual languages, how does that work like day to day for a student that would be, obviously I'm thinking of the traditional curriculum of, I'm going to have math now, and I'm going to pull out the science textbook, and I'm going to pull out the, whatever the next textbook is. How does that work for, like, say, a third grader or a fourth grader in the dual language program? What is their day like?
So their day is split about 50-50. So 50% of the language is in English, and as well as the content, as the other half is in Spanish. So they spend about one portion of the day with their Spanish content teacher, and then at the other half of the day, they switch. So we have a variety of different language allocations that we use. So specifically, the primary right now is that you have your English language arts in English, Spanish language arts in Spanish, and then we have a variety of different other contents that we blend between the two languages.
Is math taught in both languages then, and other subjects too?
Yeah, so we're really excited about a transition we're doing with math. Previously, we had divvied up the languages, so math was exclusively taught in English, and then science was exclusively taught in Spanish. Now we've decided to start the transition of a better portion of bridging. So students at the second and third grade levels are in a pilot year where we are trying Spanish thematic units of math and the Spanish side, and then alternate units on the English side in order for us to support students in both languages in all of their curriculum areas.
Do you think the students that are involved in this program are getting all the tools they need to succeed? Or sometimes do you feel like, I wish I could have these kids an extra hour a day because I want to make sure they get off on the right foot and get a step ahead?
Well, I think every single teacher across the entire country, maybe the world, would say they wish they had more time every single day with their students. So we just do our best to embrace each moment that we have with the children.
This leads to the next question, which I assume is infrastructure, I guess, because you are basically requiring extra textbooks, extra materials, extra handouts, extra time at the copier machine, all that stuff to do this. So when this program started, obviously getting all these resources together couldn't be done all at once. This is something you guys have been growing for a few years.
Correct. So each year we have our team that we are working with to prepare them for the upcoming year. So this year we're really working still with our 7th grade team, which we've initially rolled out, but also preparing then for our 8th grade team as come next year, we're going to rolling it out into the 8th grade. So it's something that we're always being intentional with how we're planning for it, and then being in constant communication with those that are going to be involved directly with it, so then that they feel better prepared for that next year to come with those resources and materials.
Also, we are really blessed to have a connection, a collaboration with Hub Remsen Print Group here in town. We work on curriculum ourselves, as sometimes it's very difficult to find high quality Spanish texts, and even honestly curriculum and materials that are designed for dual language immersion. So we work with a team of teachers, and then Hub Remsen prints those for us. It's an awesome collaborative effort that we have for our students.
Let's talk about teachers, because I was introduced at a recent school board meeting that there are teachers that are here internationally in the system. And how exciting is that to have not only teachers helping out with the Spanish-English crossover, as it were, but with direct access to cultures that the students normally wouldn't find out about?
Yeah, so we're very excited to have this opportunity we have 3 visiting international teachers that have arrived from Spain. So they're all kind of spread out at different grade levels, and they're helping us within those grade levels to really immerse our students within that culture. And it's very distinct, but it's also just an opportunity to learn from each other and being able to engage with other cultures outside of their own, something that we're really truly promoting within the dual language program.
Now, we've talked to Celeste, I've talked to you in the past about some events you've held in which you've engaged the parents and the families, and I assume that's only grown since then. Do you have like a positive story, or like one parent that stands out that there's been a situation where there's been a conference or something and the parents' elation, they're like overjoyed over the program and how it's going so far?
So we had our dual language 4th grade showcase just the past Friday. And in each showcase, a different grade level gets to show off the awesome learning and all the things that they're doing. In 4th grade, they study mythology, all in Spanish. And so the students, after studying several different Greek mythology units, were able to choose their own myth and then write their own script about it. And then they were able to perform it in front of their families, special grown-ups, their parents. We had over 60 parents attend at each of these events, and the kids did an amazing job. There's a very special moment for us because, as it goes in education, there's always the question of, is the dual language program right for my child? We had students that have IEPs, those are individualized education plans, and it's something that comes up every year. Is this the best thing for their individualized education plan? Well, those students went up with the rest of their classmates and they acted out King Midas and Zeus and all of these other characters. They spoke lines in Spanish in front of a large audience. And if you turned towards the audience and you saw their moms, they were holding up their phones, the biggest smiles across their face, tears of joy rolling down their cheeks. And truly, it was a special moment for us to see those parents seeing their students be successful and succeed in what's something that they had worked so hard towards from kindergarten all the way through 4th grade.
Yeah, and again, the individualized education plan or instructional plans, those take a lot of planning and working on, and those are adjusted every year, and they're custom tailored for each student. So not only you have that layer, but then you also have the dual language program as well. That's a lot of time with the parents, and that's a lot of discussions going on. You guys have started something in the last couple of years to get the parents really involved, right?
Right. And that's something that from the beginning, we wanted them to be involved because it is really a partnership with those families. We have them for a select number of hours, but then we know that they're going home to their families and cared ones. So we wanted to be able to establish those partnerships with them and really get them through the door and saying, how can we help each other to ultimately have, their student be successful in whatever they want to in the future. And so this is why we are very passionate about, getting parents involved, getting them through the door and allowing them to experience this with what their students are doing so that they could actually feel like, yes, this is successful for their students. It's not just selected for a number of others. So we want them to feel like they're a part of the program as much as their students are too.
You have a special event coming up on October 13th. It's on a Sunday. You guys are going to be having fun with a lot of events based around soccer, if I understand correctly.
So the big football fundraiser event is what we're so excited to share about today. And although we're here talking about the dual language program, this event is actually for all families across the district. Since we've moved to attendance centers, there's fewer opportunities where we get everyone together. So from Stepping Stones preschool all the way through the middle school, students are participating in different ways. And then on top of that, our high schoolers and adults can participate in leagues as well. Students can sign up to be soccer players, or they can sign up as the Spirit Squad. We have high schoolers, the high school soccer team, a high school Spirit Squad, cheer team. They're coming out as volunteers to support our students as they learn these different skills. And while all that fun is happening, we've got taco trucks, DJs, arts and crafts activities. We're pairing family math and literacy night with the event so students can come out and check out that Candyland theme and do some different math and literacy games with their favorite reading and math teachers. And then on top of that, Hub is hosting bingo, loteria, and sports trivia. There will be so much fun stuff to do together, and it's a way to get the whole community together in one place.
So let's go over the dates and locations. Sunday, where is it going to be at and what times?
So all of these events are going to be taking place at Lincoln Elementary School, so right here in Rochelle. And we have a variety of different days based off of the various grade levels. So we do have on Sunday, which would be our kickoff event, taking place from 2 to 5 p.m. And then all the other days will also be taking place at Lincoln School from
4 to 7 p.m.
4 to 7 p.m.
And everybody's invited, obviously. If you have a child in school and they haven't seen the flyer, been stuffed in their backpack on the way home yet, I assume those have already gone out probably a couple of times. How do they get involved? How do you get the kids signed up? Do you just show up? What does it take to get your kid involved and to be there?
So make sure to keep checking out our district app because we have links to the Futbol FUNdraiser website already on there. We'll continue to send out flyers. We have classroom visits planned in the next week, so the information's just going to keep flowing. Classroom teachers often also share on their various platforms the information of how to join. And if you still have questions about it, you can contact Celesete Canfield or Kimberly Lumsey by phone call or by email, and you can find those all listed on our district website and on our district app.
Going to be a great time. Going to be a fun weekend kicking off as a fundraiser. Where will the funds be going for this, by the way, that are raised?
Sure. So this is going to be a scholarship for a senior at Rochelle Township High School. So a bilingual individual, and not just necessarily just because they are Hispanic, but also just wanting to encourage any other individual that's coming in that wanting to acquire that second language. So it's going to be a $500 scholarship for an individual at the high school.
And that's going to be awarded, obviously, at graduation. Probably some application or something that the students would have to compete for, I imagine, write an essay. Is there a process for that?
Yes, there's an application process. So we'd encourage all of our high school seniors to kind of look for that in the next several weeks to come, just because we want to make sure we get as many participants to kind of come out and have that opportunity to receive this scholarship, and ultimately wanting them to, kind of engage in these types of activities too.
Well, coming up on the 13th, big fundraiser. Going to be playing soccer and having food and everything else at Lincoln School. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you for listening to this week's In the Know. The program returns next week at this time with another great conversation with someone from your community.